Hello! Do you want to masterfully control Rhino layers and sublayers with Grasshopper and learn how to push or bake content to the layers? Watch this short video and you will have all the information you need to get started with your own experiments. I will cover the basics and then show you a script that can divide objects into thousands of groups and push them to their own sublayers. This video covers the duplicate content component found in the Rhino tab's content section. Let's get to examples. In Rhino, you can manage your layers in the Layers tab. Here I have layer 1 with 3 layers of sublayers. You can create new layers in Grasshopper using the model layer component. Here I have 2 sets of layers and I can add them to Rhino model by pressing push on the content cache. Now if I want, I can move these 2 to be sublayers of the parent layer. Now the issue is that if I repush, the layers will be moved back and are no longer sublayers. We can combat this with the duplicate content component. I can take the parent layer to duplicate, then assign the parent layer to be the parent of the duplicated content. Then I can give a list of names that I want to be the names of the duplicated content. Now when I push, the parent layer will have 2 sublayers. Now because the parent input is a string, I have to connect the parent layer directly to the parent input. If I connect the model layer, I will get a full path as the parent layer name, and this is not what we want. If you want to use components like query model layers, you need to have a way to avoid this. Let's move on and I will show you how. Here I have the model layer. I'm using a Python script like this to parse the layer name out from the complete path. Now basically what this does is that it will find each of these character appearances and split the string after them. In this case it's right before the parent layer name. It will then select the last index of the array that contains the split strings, which is the parent layer 1. Here I use a series and concatenate to create n amount of sublayers. I then duplicate the parent layer and by pressing push content I will get 143 sublayers created and nested to the parent layer. Now this Python script will only work when your model layer does not exist yet in the Rhino context. This model layer is currently only in Grasshopper. Now if your layer already exists in Rhino context, it will have an unique ID, so you need to make some addition to the script. You need to change this to select the second last item in the string array, because the last item will be the ID. You will also need to cut away 1 space after the name. I will now move on to the last part of the script. I'm getting all the sublayers that we previously created, and I have created some objects on a layer called test layer. Here I divide objects into groups. I'm using a Python script to split the list to a tree. Here I add render attributes to the components. This is for preview purposes. This part of the script can be used to select and preview a certain group of objects. Here I apply a custom preview to the selected objects. I use the model object component to push the objects to layers. Let's see this in action. I press push and I get 1000 cubes. I will turn the custom preview on. I can use this slider to select a certain set. Now because I have added layers to the model objects before pushing, I can also right click here and select objects on the layer. This is possible for any of the groups here. Now I can edit the number of layers or groups by going back on the script, changing this number, pushing the content so that I have now only 50 layers, and then pushing this group again. That is all for now. If you learned something, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next. Thank you for watching.